The title of this module is Engaging Citizens in the City Through Media Installation. My name is Jennifer Garcia Carrizo and you can contact me in this email. When we are talking about digital screens and media installations, we are mainly talking about digital screens. Obviously there are other media installations, but today I'm going to be mainly focused on digital screens because specifically advertising digital screens are the most used in the city. So according to a recent study carried out by the artificial intelligence platform Alfie in the United States, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, and Asia, 65% of the advertising executives consulted predicted that digital outdoor advertisement will grow exponentially to reach a volume of between 5,000 and 55,000 million dollars in 2026. So that's very important because these kind of screens are not only there in our city because of nothing, there is a reason behind that, and mainly most part of them are there because of advertisement, but in this model we will try to see if we can use them in a different way. So although the data shows that this kind of advertising it's very interesting and sometimes it's called the new kind of the new kid of the block, probably you have realized that it's not a child anymore. I mean, these kind of screens have been there for years, probably from the beginning of the cycle. So that's important to be aware of that because sometimes they are very considered like a new improvement in the city, but it's important for you to realize that they have been there for more than 23 years, more or less. So that's something that you have to consider. But anyways, what is very clear is that they are very important in the marketing communication platform, and so we have to consider that. Okay, so now I will share with you a video which is around 10 minutes, but I think that's very interesting.
How many billboards do you see in your daily commute, and how many do you remember? The average attention span of humans is 8 seconds, and if advertisers don't work their magic in that time, the message is lost. Today's video features the most creative, memorable, and spectacular examples of outdoor advertising that capture your eyeballs and deliver their message in the best possible manner. In 5 cities of Belgium, Milka, a famous chocolate brand, offers its citizens free Milka cakes. All they need to do is share a message, tender, as Milka chocolate, via phone, following the instructions written on the vending machine. It's hard to miss the oversized advertisement for Red Gold tomatoes in Minneapolis. The largest part of the billboard is 2 yellow Red Gold tomato cans that are each 16 feet tall by 12 feet wide. If the 2 giant cans were filled with petite diced tomatoes, there would be enough to make salsa for more than 400,000 people. This miraculous billboard, located in one of the driest places of Peru, captures the air's humidity and turns it into potable water for Lima residents. The project is a way for the engineering department to attract more engineering students to the university. The only time you can say that the ad literally sucks. To promote its new fragrance, Crystal Bloom Snow, Jill Stewart owned 2 creative flagship shelters at a high-traffic location in Hong Kong to immerse passerby through the scent of its fragrance and the elegant snowy visual impact. Last summer, Adidas unveiled the world's first ever liquid billboard in Dubai. Women of Dubai were invited to dive beyond the surface, taking a leap of faith. Cameras from inside the billboard filmed the swimmers, and the footage was transmitted directly onto a digital screen above the Dubai Mall. The aim is to promote the new Adidas swimwear collection in the United Arab Emirates by inspiring women's confidence. The subtle message of this billboard is that only deep thinkers get the important ideas that The Economist, a British newspaper, writes about. Thai bikers make sure the ads follow you everywhere you go, thanks to the mobile digital billboards. Citroën has created a unique billboard mosaic made from almost 3,000 toy models of its range. Orfea, an insecticide brand, came up with an unorthodox way for an outdoor campaign in Milan. Transparent glue was applied on the ad surface in the shape of a jet spray coming from an insecticide can. As time passed, flies and mosquitoes got trapped in the glue, making the jet spray shape visible. Recognized as both the world's first and world's largest 3D billboard by Guinness World Records, the 6-story Coca-Cola sign has created a new benchmark for the creative application of technology in Times Square. With this huge creative 3D billboard located in Amsterdam, DHL Express Company lets us know that it uses the shortest ways to deliver your package as soon as possible. If you think that skincare products advertisements can't be spectacular, take a look at this amazing 3D billboard in the Chinese city of Sanya. This billboard was created to demonstrate Colston Hair Dye's range of natural colors. An unspoiled view of the sea and skyline behind it helps to solve the task brilliantly. A cheeky outdoor campaign to launch The Wolf of Wall Street in Australia is letting money talk. The panels of the bus shelters contain actual $100 bills to the value of $100,000. Located in Australia, they are guarded by security staff in the daytime, with the money removed overnight. In the midst of the 2020 pandemic, Seoul citizens could enjoy the astonishing view of ocean waves without breaking COVID-19 lockdown rules. This billboard was showcased at the Woodward Dream Cruise, the world's largest one-day automotive event. A smoke machine was installed behind the board, and every few minutes the rear wheel would spin, spewing smoke for the ultimate 1-minute burnout. Imagine if this would be the billboard with the Virgin Mary. The latest market to experience the new electrified Jeep Wrangler is South Korea, and unlike most introductions, the Jeep brand has something special for the Korean market. Dracula TV show bosses erect terrifying billboards that come to life at night in London and Birmingham. East Sky Mall, a shopping center in Taiwan, make sure you won't pass it by. Panasonic wants you to know that with thousands of sensory nerve fibers in human nostrils, trimming nose hair can be as risky as cutting live wires, and you need a precision tool to get the job done without getting hurt. Breaking from the traditional never-ending advertising landscape, Times Square visitors were transported to a digital hyper-realistic cascading waterfall over 336 feet tall across 4 screens last summer. Some would say that this Boba Fett ad is better than the actual show. And what do you think about this show? Let us know in the comments. Sprite advertisers prove they can think outside of the bottle with a guerrilla marketing campaign. They provide Brazil citizens with a cold shower and a refreshing drink for free. This 72-foot-tall billboard made of 5,771 shoes has nothing to do with the famous video game. It's a South African bug killer brand, Doom, illustrating their product's killing power by comparing it to the most common form of spur-of-the-moment bug control, the shoe. That's all for today. Subscribe.
Here you have watched some examples of how can we use these screens. Well, in this model I would like to introduce you how we can use these kind of screens in the city, and there are 2 objectives or 2 goals that we have in this model. So the first one is to analyze the effects and the functions of the implementation of the Ad4SS digital screens, and also we should analyze or determine how these screens can be used to engage citizens and improve citizen participation. In this sense, I would like to introduce you some ideas. First of all, screens play 3 fundamental functions in the city, apart from being an element for doing advertisement. And in this model, I would like you to focus on these 3 specific functions and on how we can use it to engage people. So they play an aesthetic, cultural, symbolic, and social function. So as for the aesthetic function, it's important to note that the screens embellish the urban landscape by wrapping and adorning it, and the presence of these screens along with other elements that dress the city is crucial to prevent it from being empty and exposed and revealing irony structures that grab attention. Besides, digital screens play a cultural and a symbolic role. Thanks to them, spaces of tourist interest can be created that become symbols and landmarks in large cities, such as, for example, the iconic billboards of Piccadilly Circus in London, or for example, Times Square in New York, or even Las Vegas. These cases acquire such as importance and symbolism for the inhabitants of these cities, that possibility of them being eliminated awakes nostalgia and desire to prevent them as a part of the urban imaginary. So we have to consider that. And in addition, these symbols generate desirable places for visitors by creating landmarks, as those ones that you have been watching in the video. And also, advertising contributes to making the city a dream world for outsiders, making it an object of desire and enjoyment that must be visited to be live it fully. For example, it's not enough of having been seen Times Square on a video. It's so much better going there, no? Because you are going to experience all these digital screens. Therefore, it can be said that these digital screens embellish the city by hiding, for example, all facades covered by tarps that are in the process of remodeling, or these elements also fulfill a social function in the city. And regarding the social function of these screens in the city, it's important to emphasize that it's one of the functions that give a greater legitimacy to these screens, because through this social function or through urban furniture, this kind of advertisement can collaborate with organizations and administrations of the different cities where it's developed. So beyond having a commercial objective or a commercial goal, it's interesting to delve into how these screens can have a social functions. And that's something that I would like you to go deeper. How can we use these screens to have another function that is going beyond being a commercial? And in the video you have already watched, there are some examples of that. So let's have a thought about that. Besides, there are 3 social functions that have been established when talking about advertisement on a theoretical level. The first is that it provides a comfort citizens by covering needs that could be considered basics. For example, you can use some of these advertisement structures for protecting people from inclement weather or providing a waiting area as bus shuttles. Also, the street furniture provides relevant information to citizens, such as movies, which often dedicate one of their face to advertisement, but then the other one is used for including city maps or other informative documents. And third, urban furniture for advertising purposes also contributes to the environmental conservation and the cleanness of the city, as for example in the one that you have already seen in the video, in which they are using a mosquito repellent and they are implementing that in the billboard. So that's something that you have to consider, because the goal in this model is to analyze how can we use these screens for other purposes different than the advertisement, and specifically for citizen engagement. So besides, digital displays have other effects on urban spaces that distinguish them from traditional ones. First of all, they help to associate the city with a most innovative place, and also they have an ability to generate greater citizen engagement. So let's have a look to that 2 ideas. Digital screens are perceived as modern, as an avant-garde elements in urban spaces, so they have an ability to display dynamic, interactive, and up-to-date content, as you can see, as you can have seen in the video. So all this dynamic, interactive content can capture people's attentions more effectively, and also it helps to incorporate audiovisual elements in the city, animation, touch technology, and all of this will engage people and will improve citizens or viewers' experience. So for example, here you have an IKEA. This is a screen included in Primark for announce their Barbie collection, and it was released in 2023. So you can see like a 3D screen in which they are implementing different symbols that will attract definitely the attention of people. So These displays are very important when we are talking about engaging people because and improving citizen participation because they are or they can adapt or customize content in real time. And that's very important because you can vary or change the content regarding or depending on the time of day or depending on who is watching the screen. So you can adapt the communication to different or specific audiences. Besides, all of these will improve the interest and will improve the citizen participation. They can encourage also interaction and engagement through, for example, new technologies as QR codes or touch screens or different implementations between them. So that's very important. And also, um, talking from a technological part or being more pragmatic, these kind of screens are very important to be implemented in the city because although they are expensive and they are very expensive, specifically in the beginning, in long terms they are amortized. Okay, so because at the end in long term, they would help to save up to 80-90% of the energy that you will need just in case that you are doing like traditional billboards, not the digital ones. So that's very important. And according to the last EAB report on the state of digital signage in Spain, consumers are very or found this kind of advertising, this kind of screens very important and more value than other media. Besides the report also, this report also says or support the idea that most part of people in Spain consider that the use of digital screens for advertising communicates an image of modernity and innovation, that 82% consider that these screens are very entertaining and that they are funny, and 64% understand them as a way of doing ecological communication. Besides, 87%, and that's very important, consider that this kind of corporations that are using this kind of advertising are very innovative. And that's something that we have to consider. Besides, I'm going a little bit more further and regarding how these screens can improve citizen participation and citizens engagement, we have to consider that these screens arise in the city, first of all, allowing the city to be digitalized. It's said to be including audiovisual elements. Second, these kind of screens can create a visual connection between the message that they are supporting and those that are these messages deliver every single day. And also the message that these images can create a visual connection between the message that they are supporting, they are emitting in them, and these messages that are delivered to us through other screens, as for example, through our smartphones. So we can say that these screens on the city can create a connection between one screen which is in the city and the screen which is in our hand, and therefore we can create a kind of communication in between them. So these kind of screens can grab passengers by attention through HD videos, interactive content, information, and they can help to offer the citizens not only information but also to create an interactive experience, and that's something that you should be doing here. At the end, the possibilities of these screens have brought into the city are endless. Everything depends on your imagination, and you can implement or use these screens or these media installations from a very rudimentary actions, but also you can do something more dynamic and interactive, and you can exchange or create a really communication. You can create a real communication between screen and the person who is in it. So at the end, the screens have become an instrument of communicating in our relationship with the world, not only on the city, but also in our houses and everywhere they are there, in computers, television, screens, smartphones, and they are there also in the city. So, as I was saying, you have like a lot of different kind of opportunities here, and also you have to consider that these kind of screens are very important, not only because of all of these ideas we have been sharing here, but also because of their capacity to join crowds in the urban space. Thank you to their audio visualizations, thank you to they to have audiovisual images, but also thank you to they to have sound. They can be used to have shows or events, and you can use them not only for a specific interaction with a couple of people, but you can also use them for being interactive with a lot of people at the same time. Because don't forget that some of them can be or have sound. That's a little bit weird when we are talking about European screens or screens being integrated in Europe or even in the USA. But for example, when it comes to Asia, in Japan, being more specific in Osaka, most part of the screens have sounds and they are there. So let's have a look to this video. Okay. So as you can see, these screens can also have sound. In Europe it's a little different because of the law, so you cannot always implement these kind of sounds in digital screens and media installations, but that's a new opportunity that you can also consider. Yeah, this is the main introduction of these models.